a million times better.
Good.
Just needed to check the buttons.
This one. Oh, you are off, do that?
Yeah, I was
I
on
always
Saturday
do.
and Sunday. This is my second time. Well, this is my on-air filth here. This was picked intentionally for the filth.
I won't tell them.
Should I wear my Zubas hat?
Not the big roof.
Well, he doesn't real every winter hat that I wear in the air is the same.
Test everybody. How we doing? Test, test, test. Is it good for everybody? How we doing? Good? Test, test, test. Okay, good. All right, guys, 5
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. All set?
All right, good evening, everyone. Nate Martin, Commissioner of Public Works, City of Buffalo. I'm pleased to be joined by Ken Kajawa from National Grid. Ken, thanks for joining me. We wanted to spend a few minutes talking about tomorrow's wind event. Really, that's what it's going to be. It's a weather pattern that we've been talking about for a few days, and we've all been looking at forecasts. So high winds are expected to hit the area starting tomorrow morning. That wind warning goes into effect about 10 a.m., but really winds will pick up throughout the day, and some high winds, importantly coming from the southeast, a little bit different direction. Have some concerns from a city's perspective about downed trees and just general safety driving around the western New York area. So urging caution when you drive around. Take a moment to look at your property, button everything up, get everything tied down, maybe put some things inside if you need to, garbage cans and such. But really just be careful on the roadways. If you see anything that comes down, call 311, call 911 if it's a power line. Ken will talk a little bit more about the power situation and power lines. But from our perspective, we just encourage everyone to be safe tomorrow during the wind event. It'll last a couple days, but really the highest winds will be tomorrow. Maybe Ken, if you share a few words.
Great. Thanks, Nate. So National Grid's been tracking this windstorm for a few days now. That's expected to hit western New York tomorrow and into Wednesday. Wind gusts approximately of 70 miles an hour are expected to hit the region. In addition to National Grid crews, we are bringing in additional contractor crews that will be staged in western New York prior to the windstorm so that we can respond to power outages as quickly and as safely as possible. For customers that do experience a power outage, we ask that you please call National Grid at 1-800-867-5222. Customers can also get outage information via the National Grid app on their phone, or they can go to National Grid's website which is nationalgridus.com. A few safety messages for our customers. Please treat all power lines that are down as if they are live. Do not touch any wires on the ground under any circumstances. If you do see a down wire, call National Grid again at 1-800-867-5222, or you can call 911. If you do own a portable generator, we ask that you please follow the following safety tips. Open your main breaker for the safety of our crews that are restoring power. Locate the generator as far from your house as possible. Close your doors, close your windows. Do not operate the generator in any enclosed space, including an attached garage. So again, if you do experience a power outage as a National Grid customer tomorrow, please call 1-800-867-5222. Thank you.
Thanks, Ken. From the city's perspective, our Public Works team, Parks and Forestry are geared up. They've got crews on the ready starting tomorrow. Be prepared for that, and outside contractors are available as well. Our engineering team will be reviewing street conditions, down lights, down street lights, or power lines, whatever it might be, to assist there. And again, we'll monitor some of the water conditions. We don't see a lake station on this one just because of the directions of the winds, but we will be monitoring any conditions that might cause some concern on the waterfront. So with that, I'll open up for any questions.
What makes, your department and National Grid to be concerned? Can
And Ken, you can talk about the power side of it, but from our perspective, traditionally winds are on the southwest, so the tree root structure, most trees, they're kind of geared for that wind. You're going to stabilize that way. If it's a turn in the winds, that has some concern from a stability of a tree standpoint and a root structure. So, and the height or the intensity of the winds, that wind speed. So direction and wind speed has some concern from our perspective, and we're just trying to alert the residents about that. So, Ken, if you have any comments.
Yeah, the only thing I would add to that is, we've had a relatively mild winter. We did have a little snow recently. The ground is not frozen, the ground is soft. And so as the wind comes through the area, we are fortunate from the standpoint that we don't have leaves on the trees right now, but the roots and of the trees that are currently in the ground, not as firm as what you would like. And so when the wind does come through, you may see the trees move a little bit more, and then, depending upon, the condition of that tree, how strong the wind is in that area, that's when we could see trees that start to come down.
What's the criteria for National Grid to bring in those contractors? Some wind event, we get paid here all the time.
Right.
It's windy in Buffalo every day.
So from National Grid standpoint, we monitor the weather constantly. We get weather forecasts 3 times a day. We're looking at New York Mesonet. We're working with the National Weather Service. Based on our experience, once we start getting winds 50, 60, 70 miles an hour, that's when we start to see significant power outages. So based on past history, past experience with other power outages, we can project out what we think is going to happen to some degree. Obviously, once the event hits, then we'll know how many customers are out of power. But we don't have the luxury of leaving anything to chance. So we would rather over-prepare for an event like this, and that's our strategy going into this. So all of National Grid's crews will be staged at our barns across all of Western New York. And then in addition to that, we bring in contractor crews. We stage them throughout our Western New York service territory. They're at local hotels. And then they're able, because we bring them in right away, as soon as we start to realize power outages, those crews can hit the ground running so that we can minimize the amount of time that our customers are out of power.
And it's not just the city of Buffalo that you're concerned about. You're concerned about suburbs, up to where, Niagara Falls, or?
We're concerned about our entire service territory here in Western New York, so we cover 11 counties. And so right now, with the way the weather forecast is setting up, we're expecting that we're going to see power outages across our service territory. Some areas may get hit harder than others. Some areas may not see the wind speeds that others do, but we will prepare. And then our crews, as they restore power in certain areas, we will then move them into areas that have been harder hit where we still have power outages in order to accelerate the restoration process.
Commissioner, you mentioned garbage cans. Tomorrow is a day for some people in Buffalo, and you want to remind people, I don't know if they're food sectors or what, but
Yeah.
to be paying attention.
Yeah, no, we're running a normal sanitation pickup this week, so as of right now, we will monitor it. Garbage pickup is on for tomorrow and on for Wednesday. If the conditions change such, we'll make another announcement if we need to, certainly.
Is that Buffalo alert? Will they find out? Or?
Yeah, that would Buffalo Alert, and we'll do some announcements through that.
And are you concerned about Christmas lights at all? Holiday decorations? Christmas lights, but any holiday decorations?
Well, really anything that anybody has at their home, so it could be furniture they have out, or your garbage can if it's maybe out in the front of the house and not up to the side. So decorations, anything that you might need to take a little extra time at your house and pull those inside, or strap those in, or rope those down if you could.
And are you expecting any problems with driving conditions tomorrow?
Well, driving conditions will, the wind and the rain, right? So driving rain could cause some visibility issues, not like a blinding snow, but it could be windy. Your car will get buffeted around with the winds. So high winds, just use caution. Wet roads, use caution. Combine those two. Just be extra careful driving.
Will the temperature be as such that you need cloud crews out softly at all?
No, this will be a higher temperature event. It might see a little snow at the beginning of it, just with the temperature, but it'll quickly warm up, and it'll be a rain event mostly. We might get a little snow at the back end of it, but mostly a rain event.
In terms of National Grid, we're talking about very high winds and north 67 miles per hour. Is there a criteria when crews can go out and prepare, or is there a lead time when they can't?
So we make that call based on the crew working in concert with our supervisors, and we make a determination whether the conditions are safe enough. In some areas where we're working, 40 or 50 mile an hour winds may not be as much of a concern as other parts, especially when you're in a more rural area where the winds may be a little more magnified in terms of your exposure. So we make that call. depending upon the situation. Obviously, the safety of our crews and our personnel and the public for that matter during an event like this is priority number one, and it's paramount. So we don't want to put anybody at risk.
You mentioned generator for home safety when power does go out, but are there any other precautions people should take, candle lighting, et cetera?
Yeah, I would say make sure that you have your cell phone charged. If you have a cell phone portable charger, charge that up in addition. And then candles, don't use candles to light your home. I know that's obviously a thing that, a lot of folks will do. They'll light some candles. You just need to be careful. You don't want to start a fire if you're lighting candles all over the house and you forget that maybe you lit one in a room or, for whatever reason. You don't want to take that unnecessary risk if you can avoid it.
All right, thank you, Ray.